Hey everyone, it's Nicole Wilkins with FitnessRx for Women, and this is my next question and answer segment where I took your questions from Facebook and I'm going to answer them for you today. The first question. Hi Nicole, what are your thoughts on intermittent fasting? Particularly the idea that you don't have to eat immediately after a workout and can wait a few hours. Do you think that may stall progress? Do you eat the typical 6 meals per day? I have never personally tried intermittent fasting, but intermittent fasting isn't necessarily like just post-workout, wait a few hours before you eat. It's usually a longer duration of time than that. If you stopped eating at a certain time at night and then waited a little longer the next day before eating your first meal, the thing is, a couple things. One, I think the most important times to eat are before and after your workout, because after your training, you want to refuel the glycogen in your muscle tissue to help recover faster and help gain lean muscle and dense muscle tissue. So I think that post-workout is really important, as well as pre-workout, so that you have energy for your lift. You have to find what works best for you. There are so many different diets and so many different methods and ways of getting in shape and achieving a certain goal that if 6 meals a day doesn't work for you, that's fine. You have to find what works for you. There are many people, obviously, who do intermittent fasting that have success and feel that it's the most beneficial for them to implement into their lifestyle. It's something that they can sustain for a lifestyle. I do eat the typical 6 meals per day, and I've been doing it for a really long time. I am not opposed to trying a different method, but that is what has worked for me this far. So, how do you focus on a certain muscle group when other groups want to take over? For example, hamstrings take over when working glutes, traps take over when working back. Make sure, number one, that your form is right. And number two, a lot of times muscle groups will take over if you're lifting too heavy. So maybe back down on the weight, and the mind-muscle connection is very powerful. So focus on the area that you're actually trying to work. And, those other tips that I mentioned before. So form, decreasing the weight, and the mind-muscle connection should help with making sure that those other muscle groups don't take over. Hi, I'd like to know how to improve strength in my arms, particularly my triceps. I can't seem to be able to master closed hand push-ups, and I'd love to be able to do pull-ups, but I don't know how to start this sort of training. Okay, triceps, the back of the arm. The best way to increase the strength of your triceps is by doing more compound movements. So try incorporating push-ups into every workout, or try bigger moves like bench pressing, and those type of exercises will hit the triceps. But also make sure that you're hitting your triceps from all different angles. So overheads, kickbacks, dips. Pick 3 exercises or 4 exercises for your triceps only to help increase the volume of the training for that particular muscle group, and that will help with strength and building muscle in that area. Close grip push-ups are very difficult, so that's one of the harder tricep exercises. And as far as pull-ups, that's your back, it's not your triceps. Should I use weightlifting shoes for deadlifts and squats? Do they help improve form, or are they a waste of money? If you use running shoes with a lot of cushion and you're doing a power move like squats or deadlifts, there's a little bit of instability in your feet on the floor. So weightlifting shoes have a very flat base and they give you more stability on the ground. Do you have to get weightlifting shoes? No, you could get Converse shoes with a flat bottom, or you could get, there's a lot of like CrossFit shoes now that have flat bottoms for powerlifting moves. I like to lift in Nike Frees because they're a little flatter, they're not as cushioned, and I have a little bit more support stability. Do you practice posing for competitions or photos? I found that I still look dumpy in my photos even though I've gotten a good figure. Yes, absolutely. Posing practice is incredibly important, especially for competitions. I will start, 8 weeks out and do it a few times a week, and then as the show gets closer, I'll do it more often. And then I actually will hold those poses for 30 seconds to a minute to help, train the muscles to hold those poses in a certain position. Because you never know how long you're going to have to hold it on stage. If you're doing a photo shoot, practicing those poses are important too, but also away from the camera. So knowing what angles work best on your body is going to be very beneficial when you're in front of the camera. And the last question I have is, I have been trying this year to get back in shape and lose weight. I keep adding new exercises as my strength improves and to target new areas. Recently, I added jump rope, and I wondered if you think it is worthwhile, and if so, how much to do. Thank you. Well, I think it's great that you're mixing things up. It's important to always trick the body and keep training fun. Jump roping is a great form of cardiovascular exercise. It's not really a strength training movement. So I would do that 2 or 3 times a week and do intervals where you go 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or 1 minute on, 30 seconds off, or 1 minute off. Like, just kind of go back and forth and have fun with that. So yes, definitely. I'm a huge fan of jump roping. So those are my questions for this week. Until next week, keep asking your questions on the FitnessRx for Women Facebook page, and I'll be back here every Friday to answer them for you. Until then, keep living the fit life.